sometimes it's very difficult because the technical wing assignment is huge. So I decided that no, we'll have a monthly action plan. So as and when assignments come in, we feed into that plan and emails are circulated to everybody. As and when new assignments come, we include them. So it's like a schedule with the activity, who is responsible for the particular activity, and the deadline to submit that particular activity. So we track it. So from weekly, we try and track it. Sometimes when I forget, somebody will prompt me that we have to undertake this assignment, or we prompt each other. So I think it's assisting us in tracking our work, because being the technical wing of the ministry, we have a very huge assignment, a lot of meetings, a lot of policies, plans, budgets, all of those things to prepare.
First of all, when I develop new ideas or ways of working in the unit, I discuss it with my direct superior before getting my subordinates or junior colleagues involved, because I don't want to just start implementing such ideas when nobody is aware. I'll discuss it with my superior to find out how feasible or how advantageous it will be to the entire staff. When it is, when my superior also sees it as a good idea, he asks me to develop it and then share it with my subordinates to make sure that everybody gets on board and applies such methods.
I always try to encourage my subordinates to appreciate is what maybe the marketing people call branding. I wanted them to see RSM, that's the short form for Research, Statistics and Information Management, as a brand. And if, as the marketers look at the customer, their focus is on the customer, which to the end user is our customer. So one of the things that I encourage them to do is to respond quickly. If you are called upon for any support, don't keep the person waiting for too long, because it will not help our brand. So I encourage them that because of the brand, RSM brand, let's respond to end user requests as quickly as possible. And if it's not within our means, then we can also call, maybe let them know that, no, this is beyond us. And for that matter, we may need some few days to fix the problem for them. So that branding idea is catching up with them. And because of that, we have very little complaints coming from those that we deliver our services to.
I just returned from Abidjan, where we went to a 2-day workshop in Abidjan, La Côte d'Ivoire, organized by the Association of Development for Education in Africa. In fact, we were the first ministry in ECOWAS to be peer reviewed by our colleagues. So we have our colleagues from Mali, the Gambia, and Nigeria. They came to review our ME system, and this is even the report. I just returned from Abidjan to review this report. So we have a lot of ideas that we have shared within the ECOWAS sub-region, and which I intend making available to the 452 officers drawn from the districts, which is how we can continue to improve on our data collection, and for that matter, data management.
For example, last year, we collect data from all the schools, and dealing with the private schools pose a lot of challenges. Sometimes they don't understand why they have to give us data. So, for example, this year, one of the new things we trying to bring on board is to invite all the reps of the private schools from the various regions at our workshop, where we will explain the issues to them, so that we want them to be part and parcel of this, so that they will go back and educate their people to understand that we are not interested in taxation, but we are interested in the figures that they're churning up, so that that can feed into the planning we are doing.
There has been new ways that we have tried to come up with. And one good example I will give again has to do with the reports. M&E, that is what we do. So, sometimes, or the normal practice is you have your sector agencies coming up with their reports. Definitely they write good things about the reports. So what we do is just to collate all this and put them in one big report for the ministry. What we have tried to do is when this report comes, we try to find some convenient time where we go to them, okay, to have first-hand information of things happening there. And then we try to compare their reports and what we have gone physically to see at the sector agencies. And sometimes, the reports seem to match what we have seen, and sometimes they don't really match. So we try to ask some few questions, and then there we do get some response, because it's not everything that these agencies can put in their reports.
Yes, well, as I said in my introduction, I've not been in the ministry for a very long time. March 2016 to date, relatively short, just about a year. But I have a personal policy to always engage the people I work with. So when I came in and I was given my role and I understood exactly what was expected of me, the first thing was to start discussion with the team that I was working with. And not just only the team, other people in other directorates that are stakeholders to whatever solution we are going to propose. So one of the things that came up was currently a gentleman, one of my colleagues, Modestus Kwashe, he's been working on contractors classification. So through interaction, we realized that no, the old way of doing things, because we're looking at a lot of paper trail. If you're doing contractor classification, there's so much paper trail. So we started brainstorming and realized that no, what if we can migrate the registration process? If a contractor wants a certificate, why can't we migrate to a web platform so that they will have access to a web form through internet and they can just apply, and we go through the normal processes that any contractor who seeks certification would go through. So it's something we brainstormed, and then we approached our director with it. He also encouraged us to talk with the people that are in charge of the certification. And so we went and had a conversation with them. And in fact, they also thought that if that one came on board, it's going to help them. But as I said, it's within a very short time period. So implementation, we haven't reached there yet, but we have communicated the idea.
That is, during our meetings, everybody is given the opportunity to be able to express his or herself. And those with new ideas will always bring it on board and it will be discussed. If we find it very cogent, we adopt and then carry it through.
It's a matter of being diligent, it's a matter of reading more, it's a matter of attending meetings and listening. Because when you're a young officer, you should sit in meetings and then you'll be listening and you'll be learning, then you'll be picking up points. And that is the way you can learn. Some people think that civil service, there is no work, there's a lot of work. And what I've realized about the civil services, we are very polite and we are very diplomatic. So if you're in the civil service and you are not finding work to do, know that you are not very effective. And nobody will go out there and tell you that you are not efficient or you are not efficient. Yeah. You will only be marginalized because assignment is not given to you, because you are not delivering. We are all very diplomatic, because if I have to give you an assignment and I have to go over it over and over and over again, I'll prefer to give it to somebody who I'll give the work to, and then in less time then I can get feedback. And we have difficulty telling people that you are not performing. You know, people don't take it lightly. So you prefer that, well, let me give it to the person who is doing it. So you find out that in the civil service, you think some are doing more, others are not doing. And I always tell my staff that if you're not getting work to do, check yourself.
Well, we should come to work on time, and as we know, we close at 5, but sometimes work demands that you stay after 5. We should be able to sacrifice and do those things for Mother Ghana.
Realize that we've not been thinking outside the box. Because we are civil servants, we want to maintain the status quo. But my experience so far have shown me that we should have what I've read, emotional intelligence. And that with that emotional intelligence, we can be thinking outside the box. Because it's not everything that we should be following as civil servants because we say this must be done and we want to stick to it. But if we can use other processes outside the box to have it done, why not? We should be thinking in that direction.
We should attach seriousness to every work we do and also know that users are very important. So no matter what happens to you as individual, don't let it reflect in your outcome of the work, because at the end of the day, the appraisal will be also used to analyze your work output. So my final advice to my colleague in the civil service is that look at the client first. First, think of how to solve the problem for anybody who comes to you for help officially, before if you have any personal issues, challenges, you deal with that. Don't let that reflect on the outcome of the work you do in the civil service.
The simple advice I would give is that whatever capacity one finds oneself, we just need to realize that our actions or inactions would go a long way to either promote or retard the progress of the nation.
Well, I think we should be more proactive. For the civil service, they are laid down rules and regulations, but then things are changing. So if there are ways that we can think of changing some of them, I think we should be coming up with proposals.
What I would say is that we should not look at the, which is very important, the monetary aspect of the civil service, but we should look at this is the work that we are called to do. Let's do it with all the ability that we have. So if you're supposed to come on time, your contract says that you're supposed to be in office 8:30 to 5. Be there on time. Work. Do the best that you can. With the help of your subordinates and with the help of your bosses, you'll be able to do it. Do it with the best of your ability, and I believe that it will help improve the service.
The service must encourage, internal training. What am I saying? I've been a regional manager or regional director for 6 regions. And I realized that maybe at the head office level, because people are at the head office, they get an opportunity to attend a lot of trainings. So if even people are from are asked for the region to attend training, when they go back, we should encourage them to pass on these trainings to their subordinates. Because I've been able to impact the knowledge that I received through my head office trainings down to my junior subordinates in the region. So I believe that civil service can encourage that because at first we used to have a lot of trainings from the British Council, and then Office of Head of Service also brought their training, which they are also doing very well. But I think that when the officers go back, they should be encouraged to transfer that knowledge to their supporters, because not all the departments or agencies may have the money to train everybody. But before even the others could get the opportunity to maybe attend the training in Accra or head of or even outside the country, at least we have had somebody who have passed on that knowledge to them at the regional level.
My word to all civil servants is please, let's work hard. Let's be diligent. Let's eschew acts of corruption. Let's ensure that we are very transparent. However, well, remember that service delivery is a key thing.
The idea of just pushing paper around so that nothing happens should go up. We should be a bit more innovative, and we should be analytical in our approach to things. How can we change things? It's important. And I think that is what makes a lot of difference. So that then our political masters will recognize as our role. The law clearly states our role, but I think it's the implementation that makes a lot of difference. So I'm challenging everybody to give up your best. And when we do that, our country will develop. And when our country develops, hey, all of us will be happy.